Hello and welcome to Study with Sudhir, the SWS Geography Guru course. And today's video is going to look at the mineral and energy resources, the chapter. And this is a rather big chapter, though a lot of portion has been reduced from it. In this particular video, we are going to look specifically at iron ore and what is the use of iron ore, where all it is used and where all it is found, the distribution part of it. Okay, so that's what we will look at, mineral and energy resources, looking specifically at iron ore in this video, right? Now, this is how an iron ore mine looks like. For those of you who may not have ever seen, this is how it looks like. This photograph, I think, is from Bellary iron ore mine in Karnataka, right? It comes almost in the central part of Karnataka, right? This is what it looks like. Mountains of iron ore. Once iron ore is detected, then it is gradually mined, okay? And pathways are created through which trucks, etc., and all these JCBs, etc., can move. In fact, let me show you. I have traveled to Bellary. In fact, I have done 2 documentaries from Bellary. Okay, it's not a great photograph. This is a photograph from 2013 in Bellary. You can see all the mining, etc., taking place in the background. I remember going there with this off-white shirt. I spent about 4 to 5 hours there, and trust me, my off-white shirt had become completely red. And I'll tell you the reason why it became red in color, right? Okay, let's get back to, yeah. So this is what an iron ore mine typically looks like, okay? Now, let's know some of the facts about iron ore. Now, it's one of the most widely distributed minerals on earth, okay? It is the foundation of industry, the backbone of modern civilization, because without iron ore, nothing really can happen if you want to develop as a community, develop as a country, right? It is useful for most machinery, because all machinery largely is made of iron and steel. Transport system, construction of dams, construction of automobiles, bridges, railways, everywhere you find iron and steel being used. And where does it come from? Comes from iron ore. So that's why iron ore becomes so much important for the overall development of a community, of a nation. India is the largest producer of iron in Asia. Okay, it's the largest producer of iron in Asia and 6th largest producer of iron ore in the world with 6% output. We're talking of iron ore essentially. Okay, 6th largest producer in the world, and iron ore deposits are found close to areas which are also producing coal, dolomite, limestone, manganese, etc. Okay. So these are some of the facts about iron ore that you need to know. Let's then move on to what exactly is an ore. And this definition is something which you would do well to remember. An ore is a naturally occurring deposit, okay, which contains a mineral or more than one mineral in sufficient concentration to justify commercial exploitation. What do you mean by commercial exploitation? I've written the definition in the notes PDF. Commercial exploitation is that you're able to take it out and make money out of it, generate revenue as a result of excavation, extraction of that mineral from that particular ore. It could be iron ore, it could be any other mineral. So it's a naturally occurring, it's not something which is man-made. It is a naturally occurring deposit which contains a mineral or more than one minerals in sufficient quantity, concentration, which can be used for commercial exploitation. Okay, so that is as far as an ore is concerned. Please remember this definition. Then there are metallic minerals and non-metallic minerals. Okay, now as far as metallic minerals are concerned, they are ores from which we get metals. Okay, so you have iron, copper, silver, gold, lead, aluminium, all of which will fall in the category of metallic minerals. The non-metallic minerals do not contain metals, and you have coal, manganese, petroleum, etc., about which we will read in the second part of this chapter, which are part of the non-metallic minerals. So we have metallic minerals. As far as your syllabus, we need to look at iron, copper, and we also need to look at coal, manganese, petroleum, etc. Okay, so those are the things which you need to know. Now there are three varieties of iron ore in India. Okay, this is important. Three varieties of iron ore in India. This again how a typical iron ore mine looks like. First is hematite, which is called red ore. Bellary in Karnataka largely has hematite, which is why I said my shirt turned red, because the iron ore, the color of it is largely red. Then there is magnetite called black ore, and then there is limonite called brown or yellow ore. Okay, so these are the three varieties of iron ore which are found in India. Let's get into more details about them. First is hematite. This is what a typical stone looks like. Okay, you can see the traces of red out here. It is red in color. It's called red ore. It contains 68% pure iron. This is important. Okay, it contains 68% pure iron, and it found in Odisha, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, which are the real mineral rich states in the country. Then Karnataka, what I mentioned, Bellary, also in parts of Maharashtra. Okay, so you need to know these places and you need to know the basics of hematite. Next, let's come to magnetite. Okay, now this one is dark brown to black in color. Okay, it's the best quality of iron because it contains over 70% of iron. Okay, this is something which you need to know. It contains magnetic property and found in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Magnetic property, which is why the name magnetite. It has magnetic property, so it is called magnetite. Let's next come to limonite. Okay, now limonite, if you see, it is yellow or light brown in color. It is the poorest grade of iron ore. Okay, it is the poorest grade of iron ore because it contains only 30 to 35% of iron. And where is it found? It's found in Uttarakhand, it's found in Mirzapur of Uttar Pradesh, and Kangra Valley in Himachal Pradesh. Okay, so these are the three varieties of iron ore that you need to know about. Let's now move to the uses of iron ore. Okay, 90% iron ore is used to make steel, and you see this kind of steels which have been made, this magnificent photograph. So 90% of iron ore is used to make steel in the country. Okay, and for those of you who may not be aware, the difference between iron and steel. The difference between iron and steel is that iron is an element, as you would be aware, and steel is an alloy of iron and carbon. Okay, so those ions containing less than 2% carbon are called steel, while those containing more than 2% carbon are called pig iron. Okay, steel and pig iron. Okay, so basically the quantity of carbon is what makes all the difference. Then they are used in the construction industry. They are used to make railway tracks. Okay, that you see. They are used to make trains. They are used to make trucks. They are used to make automobiles. So this is another industry in which the construction, the automobile, the transport industry, where iron and steel is used big time. Then you also have the use in specific kinds of iron. You have the powdered iron, which is used in metallurgy, magnets, auto parts, auto ancillaries, etc. Those are used. Powdered form of iron is used. Then you have the radioactive iron, which is used in medicine, right? The radioactive iron, which is 59% of iron, is used in medicine as a tracer element. That is, you release it in the body in order to detect a particular ailment or any other thing, foreign body, etc., which the doctors, the surgeons may want to do. And it is used largely in biochemical and metallurgical research. Radioactive iron. Then there is something called iron blue, which is used in paints, in printing inks, in plastics, in cosmetics. I'm told it's used as eyeshadow and fertilizers. So iron blue is used in all these aspects. All this is written in the notes. Then there is something called black iron oxide, which is used as a pigment in polishing compounds, in metallurgy, in medicine, and magnetic ink. So I would suggest if you just make a chart in the notes, or just when you are noting it down, just underline the things and you just happen to remember it. Okay, what is the use of different kinds of iron? The basic two things are steel industry, right? Iron and steel industry, and in the construction and the transport industry. And these are the 4 other ways in which iron is also used. Okay. Now let's come to the distribution of iron ore in the entire country. This is another way, another photograph of what a typical mining area looks like. In fact, if you travel through the southern part of Chhattisgarh, which is again mineral deposit rich area, you would find a lot of these kind of machines. Now what happens is, I'm just digressing a bit. What happens is, because South Chhattisgarh is also Naxal affected, Maoist affected area, so the contractors have to regularly pay something to the Naxal so that they don't kind of disturb the mining activity. Okay, because the Maoists feel that these contractors are making a lot of money, the state is earning a lot of revenue from their area, but not giving proper amenities and facilities to the tribals whose cause they espouse. So they kind of come and disrupt. There have been many cases where this kind of equipment is burnt or damaged or vandalized. So all those things keep happening. But if you travel through South Chhattisgarh, you will find a lot of scenes like this of mining activity taking place in Chhattisgarh, even parts of Odisha, the western part of Odisha. So that's why I put these 3 states in red: Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, which are really the iron ore mineral rich states of the country. So what you need to do, and that I've put in the notes because that would have been too much of text. In each state, you need to know at least 2 places which are the main concentration of that particular mineral, in this case the iron ore. So in Chhattisgarh, you have a place called Bailidela, which is very important. Okay, Bailidela and Durg district. Okay, deposits from here are used for supplying to the iron and steel plant in Bhilai. Okay, so this is very important. Then from Jharkhand, you have Chirai in Singhbhum district and also in Palamau district. Okay, so just remember 2 names in every state which will be important for you. That's the part which you will need to recall and remember. Then in Odisha, Odisha is important because there are many places. As I said, Odisha is extremely mineral rich, which is why you have companies like Vedanta, etc., doing a lot of work in Odisha. And there have been also a lot of protests against them. They are of the hematite variety, that is the red ore variety. Keonjhar, Koraput, KK, Sambalpur, Sundargarh, SS, Cuttack, Mayurbhanj, CM. K2, S2, CM. That can be your code in which how to remember. 2 names starting with K, 2 names starting with S, CM. Okay. Then this is also, as I said, this is also the reason why I said so many iron and steel plants are located in these 2 states, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, and also Odisha, right? You have the Bhilai steel plant, you have the Rourkela steel plant, you have the Tata steel plant, all of them located in these 3 states. Okay. Next, we come to Karnataka, which has both hematite and magnetite. Okay, there is something called the Baba Budan Hills in Chikmagalur, right? Ballari, what I spoke about, Hospet, which is close to Ballari. Then you have Kudremukh in Chikmagalur, has 1,000 million tons of deposits, and it is used for the Bhadravati iron works. So Karnataka is another mineral rich state, especially for iron ore. Goa, another state where there is a lot of mining takes place, but the difference is that the quality of iron ore in Goa is of slightly inferior quality, right? They are more of the limonite kind of iron ore, right? But the northern part has more richer deposit, but the southern part of Goa is not very rich in iron ore, not the best quality of iron ore. Then you have Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, the Rayalaseema region of Andhra Pradesh, Kurnool, Kadapa, etc., again rich in iron ore. Tamil Nadu, Salem, North Harcourt, Coimbatore, the western part of Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Ratnagiri and Chandrapur, and the last one is Rajasthan, which has got covered by this page numbers, Udaipur and Bhilwara. Okay, and the main main iron ore exporting ports in India are Marmagaon, Goa, and Visakhapatnam on the east coast. Okay, so with this we come to the end of iron ore. I hope I have simplified it enough for you to have a basic understanding. Now I want you to go through the notes so that it serves as a second revision. Then go through whichever textbook has been prescribed for you by your school so that you have extra information. The notes are prepared from 4 different sources. You have Morning Star, you have Frank Brothers, you have Evergreen, plus my own independent research. So the notes are very comprehensive. So if you go through the notes, that should be more than good enough. Plus, look at some of the question and answers also, which I have written for many of the points. Okay. So next, we will move to manganese and copper, and that will be the main part as far as these minerals are concerned, after which we'll move to petroleum, coal and natural gas. So I'll see you now in video number 2 of this chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Okay, I hope you have seen video number 1 on iron ore. Now we move to manganese and copper, right? Now, what exactly is manganese? Okay, let's go through that. Now, manganese, this is what a manganese deposit looks like. Now, what is manganese? Manganese is a black hard iron-like metal, occurs as natural oxide. This is what it looks like, and it is an important raw material used for smelting of iron ore and used for manufacture of ferroalloys. These are technical terms, smelting, etc. It's a technical term, so I'm not getting into very great detail about it. So these are the uses of manganese, and I will get into the specific uses of it later on in this particular video. So these are the 2 uses of manganese. This is what it looks like, and this is the nature of manganese that you would need to know. Okay. Now, what are the uses of manganese? What I mentioned. What are the uses? It is used to make steel tough and resistant to rusting. This is something which you need to remember. It can be asked even as a 1-mark question. Okay, that what is the element, what is the mineral that is used to make steel tough or resistant to rusting? Okay, so this is one of its most important uses. It is used to form important alloys like aluminum and stainless steel, right? This is again important. It is used in the manufacture of black enamel, bleaching powder, glass and electrical industries. This is another big use of manganese. It is used in dry cell batteries, the kind of batteries that you get, which we use for different kind of white goods. It activates vital enzymes. Now, this is an important part for metabolism of fats and proteins. Okay. And it can regulate also blood sugar levels. So from a very medical point of view also, manganese is an important element that you need to know about. It is useful in bone development and also in reproduction. It regulates blood sugar levels, as I said. It is also essential for plant growth and reduction of nitrates in green plants and algae. So even for botanical purposes, it's pretty useful, and it helps human body utilize vitamins. Okay, so these are the usefulness of manganese as far as plant life and animal life, human life is concerned. Okay, and this is as far as the entire industrial use of manganese is concerned. Okay, so these are some of the uses, 7 uses I've mentioned, but you make sure that you know about 4 of them or 5 of them pretty well. Okay, in case it comes as a long format 3-mark question. Now, the main buyers of manganese from India are USA, Japan, UK, France, Holland, Germany. So you realize that European countries, 4 of them, UK, France, Holland, Germany, buying their manganese from India. Okay, and this is what a manganese plant essentially looks like, where it is mined, pretty similar to a coal area or even an iron ore area in terms of the kind of machinery that is used. Okay, now in terms of the distribution, the manganese producing states in India, again another photograph that I have put basically to show you the kind of stuff. See, the difference between us and other channels which also put out stuff on geography is that we don't just do textbook knowledge. Yes, textbook knowledge is there, but because we have a lot of practical experience in different areas, so it gives a slightly different element to the way we kind of put out this kind of information and content and explanations. So these are the different states where manganese is produced in India. Okay, now these are things where you will need to remember. So it's always better if you can make a chart with the places. For instance, Andhra Pradesh. Which are the places? It is the north coastal part of Andhra Pradesh, which is why I said in an earlier video also, please invest in an India political map so that you are able to correlate the names that are put here and in the notes to the places in the map. It will make recall and visual imagery that much easier. Okay, so you have Vishakhapatnam, Srikakulam. Srikakulam is the topmost part. In fact, one of our students, Shravan, comes from Srikakulam. Srikakulam, Vizianagaram, Vishakhapatnam, the three districts adjoining each other, they are close to the Odisha border. They are called the North Coastal Andhra Pradesh. Then you have Telangana. In Telangana, you have the northernmost part of Telangana, which is the Adilabad district. It borders Maharashtra. So that's another area where manganese is mined. Then you have Goa, a place called Sangam. You have Jharkhand, Singhbhum, Palamau and Chaibasa in Jharkhand. Then you have Karnataka, again Ballari, Davangere, Chitradurga, Shimoga. All four districts come in the central part of Karnataka. Remember this, you can always correlate it. For instance, sugarcane, which we spoke about in the agro-based industries. Sugarcane is grown in the Mandya, Mysore belt, which is the southern part of the Karnataka, bordering, which will be close to Tamil Nadu. Or the northern part of Karnataka, bordering Telangana, which will be Gulbarga or Kalburgi, it's called now, or Bidar districts, right? Now we are talking about the central part of Karnataka where you have these kind of mineral deposits, iron ore in Ballari, and you have in Davangere, Shimoga, etc. You have this manganese deposits, Chitradurga. Then in Madhya Pradesh, districts like Chhindwara, right, from where a very popular leader Kamal Nath comes from, former chief minister, former union minister. You have Chhindwara, Balaghat, Jabalpur, Mandla. Then Maharashtra, Nagpur and Bhandara, the slightly, not the central eastern part of Maharashtra. Odisha, Mayurbhanj, Talcher, Keonjhar, Koraput, Sundargarh. Now these are all districts, if you would find, they're also rich in minerals. They're rich in almost every mineral. So you'll have the same names like Koraput, Keonjhar, Mayurbhanj, right? They'll all be there for all kind of different minerals. So it will be easier for you to correlate it to that extent also. Then you have finally Rajasthan, where you have in Banswara, Pali, Udaipur, where you have these kind of districts. So mainly the top four, definitely top five, you should definitely know, and some of the names which are mentioned there as well. Okay, so with this we come to the end of the manganese part of this particular chapter. Now let's go to copper, and with copper you would know why it is useful. This is how it is useful in day-to-day use for you and me when it comes to power supply, when it comes to electricity supply. So copper is an extremely important element in day-to-day urban and rural life in the world, right? So let's now look at why is copper so important. Look at the magnificent look of copper, you know, that glazy, not golden, but there is a sense of, it has a very glamorous kind of a look. These are the copper pipes which are manufactured. Now, what are the different uses of copper? Now, copper, you should know that it is an important non-ferrous as in non-iron metal, and the earliest metal which was used by man. And copper exists in three combinations: sulfides, oxides and carbonates. You would have known about it in your chemistry chapters also. So what are the uses of copper? This is very important. It's a good conductor of electricity, which is why it is used in electrical wires. So if you get a question as to which metal is used in electrical wires and why, copper, because it's a good conductor of electricity, have 2 marks in your pocket. Then it is used in automobile and defense industry as well, right? Also, while you're talking about good conductor of electricity, it is also very ductile. Now, what is the meaning of ductile? Ductile means whose shape can be changed without losing strength. Okay, you can change the shape of copper, but it does not lose its strength in the process. It's also malleable, which means it can be pressed without breaking it. Okay, so it's used to make electrical wires. It is used in the automobile and the defense industry. It is used to make cooking utensils. Why? Because it's a good conductor of heat as well. Good conductor of electricity, good conductor of heat. So these two uses extremely useful also from an examination point of view. Then it is alloyed to form brass and bronze. How? And both brass and bronze, you would recall, has a similar kind of a shiny look, like the way the photograph that I showed of copper. So brass It is alloyed with zinc in order to form brass and along with tin in order to make bronze. It is used in the shipbuilding industry. It is used in the building construction for roofing and plumbing purposes. In fact, if you see many of the pipes, etc., they use copper also. Okay, so this is how copper is used. Now, if you see, in fact, you would have heard it at home also. People say that you should drink from this copper pitchers kind of thing, copper vessels, right? The water is of good quality when it is stored in these kind of copper flasks, right? So that has kind of now become rather trendy and fashionable for people in urban areas, that they need to kind of use this copper flask in order to drink any kind of fluid, especially water. Okay. Um, India is short of copper and it depends largely on exports. Okay, but there are still some areas where copper is found. Where in Madhya Pradesh, in places like Jabalpur, Balaghat, sorry, and Betul, right? In Rajasthan, in the Khetri belt, in Junjunu, in Alwar, in Ajmer, Bharatpur, Dungarpur. So Rajasthan is pretty rich as far as copper is concerned. In Maharashtra, in places like Gadchiroli, which is again a Maoist affected area. In Nagpur, Chandrapur is the district adjoining Telangana. In fact, we had done one very fascinating story from Chandrapur. From Adilabad, there was this one particular village where people used to vote both in Maharashtra and in then Andhra Pradesh. This I'm talking about pre-division of Andhra Pradesh. So they used to vote. People had ration cards. In fact, there was this one very fascinating family where the one brother was a sarpanch from the Maharashtra side. The other brother, the younger brother, was a sarpanch from the Andhra Pradesh side, which is quite fascinating. So people used to buy ration from both Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. At that time, Andhra Pradesh used to sell rice at 2 rupees a kg. So they used to buy rice here, wheat in Maharashtra. So it's fascinating story. So we had to go, we couldn't get to the village on the Andhra Pradesh side. So we had to go to Chandrapur. We stayed the night in Chandrapur and then we came into Andhra Pradesh, quite a rocky terrain anyway, many years ago. Okay, Maharashtra and also in Andhra Pradesh, in Guntur, Kurnool and Prakasam. So these are some of the places. Again, as I said, these are places, one or two places in each state you should know by heart. Just make it a point. It would kind of tax your brain, but if you make those kind of mind maps, correlate it to the places on the India map that you would have in your study room and just revise it every couple of days, these things will get in your memory. Okay, so that's as far as copper distribution is concerned. In the notes PDF, I've also put a few question and answers, and some of them are actually board question papers from 2018, 2019. Okay, so just have a look at it. Like, why is copper used to make cooking utensils? Because it's a good conductor of heat. Why is a good conductor of electricity? So those are the very simple questions that you could possibly get. So with this, we come to the end of iron ore, manganese and copper. Now we move to coal, petroleum and natural gas in the next two videos, after which we will move to hydropower. Okay, so now I'll see you with the video on coal. Okay, it promises to be extremely educative and interesting. Thank you very much for watching.